Everything looks normal, and that's the first clue. People are talking like nothing's shifting. Plans are moving forward. Schedules, messages, smiles. All business as usual. But underneath it, everything's stirring, off balance, out of sync, ready to break the moment someone pays attention. July 31st, 2025 doesn't come with ceremony. It arrives like a lock clicking open in the background. This moon doesn't ask permission. It doesn't announce its purpose. It applies pressure where you've gone quiet, and what's been delayed too long won't hold. What you avoid will turn. What you doubt will demand clarity. What you've outgrown will no longer wait politely. Most won't catch it in time. They'll keep moving. But this message isn't for them. It found you for a reason. This lunar moment on July 31st isn't here to entertain. It's here to shift the vibe, big time. It's not hype. It's timing. The kind that makes you look at where you are and realize something's different. You might catch yourself thinking deeper, pulling back from distractions, or finally ready to stop second-guessing what you already know deep down. This energy doesn't demand anything from you. It reminds you of what already matters. Emotionally, you may find yourself craving real connection, clarity, and peace from the noise. Physically, you might feel drawn to move slower, more intentionally. Spiritually, it's that quiet nudge to take yourself seriously, to stop waiting for the right time, because this is the right time. It's not about fixing everything, it's about tuning in and realizing you're already on the edge of something meaningful. You just needed a moment like this to finally see it. Think of July 31st as a spotlight moment in the middle of the year, like the universe handing you a mirror and saying, look again, not to judge or analyze, but to realize what's been building in the background is now ready to surface in real time. You may have noticed how July has carried this odd tension, like something brewing quietly under the noise. That's not random. It's connected to the unique rhythm of this lunar phase. July 31st lands on a number that speaks to breakthroughs. 3-1 = 4. In numerology, 4 is about grounding structure and rebuilding from experience, not just idea. It's about taking what's been floating in your head and finally giving it space to land. And with this moon rising in a bold sign, it brings clarity in a way that doesn't whisper. It shows up, direct, strong, honest. In astrology, this moment brings a mix of emotion and drive. It's the kind of phase that helps you clean the emotional clutter, not by force, but by showing you what no longer fits, where you're headed. Think of it like reorganizing your playlist. You keep the songs that still hit and skip the ones that don't match your vibe anymore. You're not throwing anything away. You're tuning in to what actually supports your mood, your flow, your next step. The lunar phase itself acts like a spotlight. It's the final moon of the month, and it's carrying the power of closure, clarity, and momentum. You're being invited to zoom out. Look at the bigger picture of how far you've come this year, and what still wants your attention. Not everything has to be figured out, but some things do need to be acknowledged. Ignoring them now would be like trying to run with your shoelaces untied. It works for a while, until it doesn't. What makes this moon so important is its timing, not in some dramatic way, but in the sense that it arrives right as people are questioning what's real, what's worth their energy, and what finally needs to shift. Think of how fast this year has moved. Now think of how much you've had to pivot, reflect, or pull back. This moon isn't asking for a grand plan. It's just asking you to be honest with yourself, with your habits, with what you're ready to drop, and what you're finally ready to grow into. Spiritually, this is a reset moment, a chance to clear the emotional static and let things land in a more centered way. You may notice a stronger pull to recharge, simplify, or spend time with people who actually pour into you. That's part of the shift. This energy supports depth, not surface noise, real connections, real movement, real clarity. It's less about chasing and more about noticing what naturally rises when you stop chasing anything at all. Metaphorically, you can think of this moon like a clean canvas. Not because you're starting over, but because you get to decide what stays and what doesn't. The background music is changing. The rhythm is new, and instead of racing ahead, you're being guided to pause and curate the next steps, intentionally. And the most interesting part, most people will miss it. They'll scroll, rush and brush it off like it's just a full moon. But not you. You're here, you're listening, and you're paying attention. Because something about this moment isn't loud, but it's clear. July 31st is a line in the sand. Not the end, not the beginning, just that rare in-between space, where clarity and timing meet, and things finally click. Slow down your thoughts, not forcefully, but like turning the volume down on everything that doesn't need to speak right now. Let the noise outside move on without needing your attention. Everything you need in this moment is already here. You're not behind, you're not late. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Tune in, not to the outer world, but to the space within you that doesn't rush. That space knows how to listen, even when everything outside is moving fast. That's the part we're working with right now. Now shift your focus inward, not deep into emotion, but into awareness. Light awareness, soft awareness, the kind that notices the way your mind settles when you stop trying to manage anything. Let the thoughts wander without chasing them. Let them pass by like a feed you're scrolling through but not clicking on. They're not urgent. They're not calling you right now. This moment is yours. You're here because something inside you knows it's time to recalibrate. Not through effort, but through presence. The kind of presence that doesn't need to impress or prove or perform. It's not about reaching anywhere new. It's about landing fully where you already are. Now, bring attention to your body, not to analyze it, but to connect with it in real time. Notice the way you're sitting. Adjust gently if needed. Soften your jaw. Loosen your hands. Let your forehead release any tightness. You're safe to slow down. You're safe to be still. Now, think of a place where you always feel at ease. Not fantasy, not escape. Just a place where your energy comes back to center. Maybe it's a room, a view, a rooftop, a quiet corner of your favorite park, a stretch of road where everything goes quiet inside. Picture being there. Stay with it. No distractions. Let that place set the mood. Now, bring in one word that represents how you want to move forward this month. Only one. Clarity, peace, power, confidence, stability, flow. Whatever word comes up first, trust it. You don't need to explain it. That one word is your anchor. Let that word expand. Let it take up space, not in your head, but in your posture. Sit like that word already belongs to you. Move like it's not something you're waiting for, because it's not. It's already yours. You're just claiming it now. Bring your awareness now to the idea of release, not in a dramatic way, but like decluttering. Think of one habit, one mindset, one story you keep replaying that you're tired of carrying. That thing doesn't need to go with you into this next phase. It's taken enough space already. You don't need to fight it. You just don't need to take it with you anymore. Now, picture setting that one thing down. No push, no judgment, just choice. You're choosing what comes next and what doesn't. As you let that old weight go, invite in something new, something real, something like. Think about a moment in your life when things finally made sense. Not forever, but for a second. That quiet click, that unexplainable clarity, that's your confirmation. You're not making things up. You're remembering what already aligns. Now bring your focus to your inner voice, not the loud thoughts or the fast doubts. The quieter one, the one that knows even when you don't have all the answers. What does it want you to hear right now? One simple message. Let it come to you. It won't be complicated. It may come as a sentence, a phrase, or even a single word. Again, trust it. That's the message you carry forward. Not as pressure, but as a compass. You're entering a new month with fresh energy. And while not everything changes at once, something real begins when you stop repeating what isn't working. This moon cycle, especially the life-changing moon event on July 31st, brings in a rare kind of clarity. the kind that only arrives when you slow down enough to notice what's always been there. So much of our lives are spent trying to get ahead, but right now, you're being invited to be present, to not race toward the next thing, but to fully occupy this thing, this version of you, this space, this quiet. Let that land. You're not chasing anything here, you're aligning with who you already are. Now, bring your awareness to your future, not far off, not fantasy, just the you that exists, a few steps ahead, that version of you who chose peace over noise, who chose consistency over chaos, who chose to show up even when no one was watching. That version is waiting for you, not far off, right around the corner. The difference between here and there, intention. Now think about one small move you can make that brings that future version of you closer. Not a big plan, just one action. Maybe it's a decision you've been avoiding, a conversation you've been holding in, a morning you've been meaning to reclaim. One step, let that next step rise. That's your reminder. Transformation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's one quiet move at the right time. Let's take it one level deeper. Bring your awareness to your environment, not physically, but energetically. Who are you giving access to? Who gets your time, your headspace, your energy? Not everyone deserves that front row seat. Protect your access, protect your energy. You don't have to explain your shift to those who aren't doing the work. Your circle should support your calm, not drain your clarity. Now think about your pace, not your productivity, your pace. How fast are you moving? And is that speed working for you? Are you racing, or are you pacing yourself with purpose? The most aligned people don't move the fastest. They move with intention. Be that person, the one who knows when to push and when to pull back, the one who understands rest is strategy. Now bring in gratitude, not as a buzzword but as a way to remind your mind what's already working, what's already showing up for you. Think of 3 things right now that are good, simple, undeniable. They don't have to be big, just real. Anchor into those, and now anchor into you. You've done more than you give yourself credit for. You've grown in ways you haven't even fully seen yet. You've survived, adapted, adjusted, restarted, and realigned, quietly, consistently. This moment is about recognizing that and giving yourself permission to move forward without carrying weight you've outgrown. The version of you that's listening right now knows what to do, knows what to trust, knows what matters. Think of how far you've come, not in milestones but in mindset, how you handle things now, how you pause before reacting, how you don't rush into spaces that drain you. That quiet growth matters more than anything loud. Your presence is shifting, not because you're trying harder, but because you're more in sync with what actually fits. You're less interested in chasing things that drain your peace. You're more interested in what feels real, what gives back, what lasts, what makes you better. Let that be your filter. Not everything gets access. Not every situation needs your reaction. You've got the power to choose where your time and energy land. Use it now. Lean into self-connection. Think about how different things are when you're grounded in your own energy, when you're not absorbing every mood in the room, when you don't let external noise shape how you move. That's strength. Quiet, powerful strength. And that's what's building right now. You're not being asked to hustle harder. You're being invited to move cleaner, clearer, more in tune with your pace, your truth, your direction. Let go of timelines that were never yours. Let go of pressure that came from comparison. No one else gets to define what your progress should look like. The only thing that matters is that it's true to you. The most powerful shift begins when you stop performing and start aligning. You don't owe consistency to old versions of yourself. You're allowed to evolve without an explanation. Growth doesn't need permission. It just needs space, and you're finally giving it that. Let that land for a moment. Not everything will move fast, but that doesn't mean it's stuck. Some things are working behind the scenes while you stay steady. Trust doesn't always look like knowing. Sometimes it looks like not rushing the process. Sometimes it looks like rest that isn't earned. It's simply necessary. The most powerful version of you is the one that honors what matters, without noise. You don't need to prove anything that's already solid within you. Start seeing quiet confidence as your new normal. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it just is. And that's where your strength is rooted.
Now, bring your awareness back to your intention. Think about what actually matters. Moving forward, not the temporary things, not the surface stuff, but the habits, relationships, and mindset that support the long run. You're here to build something real, something that holds up when life gets fast or uncertain. The version of you stepping into this next season is sharper, calmer, and more clear about what stays and what fades. Honor that. Not everything makes it with you, not everyone does either. That's not loss, that's clarity. You're not walking away, you're walking forward. Now think of one practice you want to carry with you, a new habit, a daily check-in, a morning shift, anything that roots you in your focus. It doesn't have to be dramatic. The power is in the consistency. Let that new rhythm take shape. Make space for it to grow, not perfectly, but steadily. You don't have to flip your world upside down to start fresh. Sometimes it's the tiniest shift that makes everything lighter, and that's what this moment brings. Keep your heart open to what's next, but protect your energy like it's your foundation, because it is. People who respect your growth won't demand the old version of you, and people who drain your clarity don't belong in your next chapter. Stay close to what reminds you who you are, and when things feel uncertain, return to the word you claimed earlier. Let that word anchor you. Let it pull you back. When everything outside tries to distract you, you're stepping into this next phase stronger than you realize. You've done the inner work, and even when it felt like no one saw it, you did. That's what matters. Take this clarity with you, not like a task, but like a quiet compass. Let it guide how you move, how you speak to yourself, how you protect your pace. And when the world speeds up, remember, you're allowed to move differently. Everything you've released has made space for what's next, and everything you're stepping into is already waiting for you to claim it. Everything changes when you stop searching for the big signs and start paying attention to the quiet ones that were always speaking. The rare moon event landing on July 31st isn't trying to impress anyone. It's here to wake up something deeper, the part of you that's been ready for more, but didn't know where to begin. This is not about having all the answers. This is about what you finally know without needing proof.
That moment when something clicks inside and you realize you've outgrown the small talk with yourself. You can't lie to your own mind anymore. You're not confused, you're cautious. You're not stuck, you've been patient. You're not lost. You're leveling up in a way that doesn't always show up on the outside right away. What you've been brushing off, that quiet nudge, it's been calling your attention back for a reason. You're not hearing it by chance. You're hearing it now because the timing is too aligned to ignore. Growth doesn't always knock. Sometimes it just waits until you stop pretending that what you're carrying still fits. And that's what this moment is about. The rare kind of timing that turns reflection into power. It doesn't arrive through big dramatic events. It comes when your awareness sharpens, when your habits tighten, when your expectations shift, when you stop entertaining things you've already outgrown. That's where the power starts. You begin to see that most of what drained you wasn't heavy. It was just no longer useful. Conversations that didn't expand you, habits that didn't ground you, environments that didn't respect you, all of that is background noise. Now you don't owe it your attention anymore. This moon doesn't come with a spotlight. It comes with a mirror, and the reflection it offers isn't asking you to fix anything. It's asking you to recognize what's already changed. There's a different kind of strength in knowing you're not who you used to be, and not needing anyone else to validate that. It's not about distance or silence or cutting things off. It's about becoming unavailable to anything that no longer connects with your clarity. That's the revelation. You don't need permission to upgrade your mindset. You don't need validation to grow quietly. You don't need to announce your next chapter just to prove it exists. The energy of this moment carries a specific message. Your evolution is already in motion, even if the world hasn't caught up to it yet. It's all internal now. Cleaner, sharper, built from experience, not ideas. And suddenly, the things that used to impress you don't mean as much. You start choosing what's real over what's loud. You start respecting your time like it's your currency, because it is. You stop trying to explain yourself in rooms that never deserved your clarity in the first place. This isn't a phase, it's a new filter, a new lens, a new rhythm, and you realize the most powerful move you can make is choosing yourself fully, calmly, without a performance. You've already given enough time to versions of you that were trying to survive. This season, it's about you deciding how you want to live. And it's not loud, it's not fast, but it's real. The moon doesn't ask for attention, it holds presence. And now, so do you. You hold presence. You hold energy that doesn't need to chase, doesn't need to prove, and doesn't need to compete. You're stepping into a phase where self-respect shows up in your habits, not just your words, and that is what makes it real. The real turning point happens when you stop reacting to everything, when you let things be what they are without letting them throw you off track. That's not detachment, that's strength. You finally realize that peace isn't what happens when life slows down. It's what you build when you move differently through it. That's the core of this transformation. You don't need to fix your world. You need to take ownership of how you show up inside it. You start making decisions that match your standards, not your fears. You stop shrinking yourself just to keep the peace in places that never gave you any. And the more honest you are with yourself, the more everything around you starts to shift on its own. This isn't about chasing some perfect version of life. It's about choosing what's aligned with who you've become, quietly, clearly, without overthinking it. And when that happens, clarity isn't something you go looking for. It shows up because your energy finally makes space for it. No more trying to read between the lines of people who don't communicate clearly. No more overextending just to be understood. You've spent enough time wondering how things would change. Now you realize it starts with you, not in theory, but in action. Real growth shows up in the way you say no with guilt, in the way you move on without resentment. The rare moon energy surrounding July 31st doesn't hand out instructions. It offers you perspective, the kind you can only access when you stop outsourcing your intuition, the kind that rises when you trust that your inner world isn't lying to you. You already know who and what belongs. You already know what energizes you and what drains you. The turning point comes when you stop ignoring that knowing and let it lead. And in that space, something new starts forming. You start choosing routines that don't exhaust you. You start prioritizing people who bring calm, not confusion. You stop chasing moments of peace and start building your life around them. You stop needing life to slow down so you can catch up. You start moving at your own pace. You stop apologizing for it. You stop minimizing your growth just to stay relatable. You stop explaining your boundaries like they need a reason to exist. It's not about becoming someone new, it's about returning to the version of you that didn't second-guess your gut. The version that didn't need 10 signs to trust what already felt solid. That's the deeper clarity this moment offers. And suddenly, the noise fades. The urgency fades. You don't need every answer. You just need the confidence to move with the ones you already hold. You begin to understand that peace doesn't require perfection. It just needs consistency. And once you stop waiting for someone else to offer it, you realize you've been the source all along. That changes everything. You become more intentional with your mornings, more mindful of your surroundings, more protective of your attention. You stop measuring success by how busy you are and start valuing how calm you've become. You no longer live by reaction. You lead by rhythm. And in that rhythm, you become magnetic to what actually belongs. No forcing, no chasing, just clarity showing up where it's welcomed. This is your edge. This is the moment where everything starts landing. Not because the world changed, but because you changed how you move through it. You're not here to be in survival mode anymore. You're here to lead your own energy with clarity, consistency, and strength. So when you think about what comes next, don't overthink it. Think cleaner, think sharper, think calmer. You already know what to do.
You've just never trusted yourself this fully before. When moments like these show up, they don't need to ask permission. They arrive fully formed, wrapped in a kind of clarity that doesn't always make sense right away, but somehow speaks directly to the parts we've been ignoring. Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's that strange pull that's been building lately, reminding us to slow down, look again and choose differently. But one thing is certain, these aren't ordinary days, and no one watching this is here by accident. What's arriving on July 31st is a rare moon event that doesn't need dramatic language to make an impact. It brings a deeper invitation to see with more honesty, to move with more intention, and to stop brushing past what keeps calling for attention. It's not about fixing what's broken or rushing into big declarations. It's about listening closely to what's been quietly changing beneath the surface. The things that have felt almost ready will begin to make their way forward, not with pressure, but with quiet force. Not all at once, but in a way that can't be ignored anymore. That's where transformation begins, in the ordinary places we've been walking past, now lit up with new meaning. There's no perfect time, and yet somehow this is the time. Those who are meant to find this message already know that it lands differently, because something within is already responding. So let's make this space more than a moment. Let's create a ripple, share this message forward, invite others into the conversation, keep this energy moving through action, light up the comments with your own insights, questions, or simple truths. Not because it's expected, but because that's how momentum builds. This is how we remind one another that change is not a solo act, it's a shared unfolding, and no one here is walking into this alone.